So hello and welcome back. Right. So let's start our second session of today. Now see, in first session we talked about all the different parts of the brain, right? Their basic functions. Now slowly and gradually we'll keep on adding extra things to it. So it will enhance your your information and the knowledge about that specific content. Let's come down to now spinal cord, right? And we learned one thing about spinal cord before we finished last session, and that was like that it is bit reverse than brain. In brain, it was that outer was having cell bodies, and cell bodies are our CPUs, they are the processors, right? And those axons, they are nothing but they are the wires, right? They are taking the current from one point to another point. What that current will do, well, that would depend upon who is sending and to whom is sending. That was the concept. As it comes to spinal cord, things have changed. It is now our central portion, right? That central portion is gray matter. So that's the gray matter, right? This is the gray matter. So gray matter is having cell bodies. So if the gray matter is having cell bodies, that means the processing part is in center, right? That is in center. And we have got all those connections in the form of white matter, right? That's the white matter. So that's white matter is outside, right? So that's the white matter which is having all those tracks and the axons. So that will increase, send the messages up or down onto the sending information. Okay, so that was our first impression of today, that that's how things really go in the form of spinal cord, right? Gray matter, cell bodies, they are inside, and the white matter, which is outside. Okay, now we are adding something to it. As we know it so well that this is the spinal cord is a cross section or the transverse section of the spinal cord, and any of the projection which is like, let's say things are like this, and any of the thing which is projecting like this, like this, like this, we call it horn, right? We call it horn. So this horn, where is it located? Accordingly the names are given. So easiest is the lateral one. So that's the lateral horn, and we have got the anterior horn, and there is a posterior horn. So here it is. We have got the anterior horn, we have got the lateral horn, and then there is a posterior horn, right? There is a posterior horn. Now out of this, first we would touch the lateral horn. Deliberately we are touching the lateral horn because lateral horn is for sympathetic system. Sympathetic system, it means all those autonomic controls, right? They are by lateral horn. Cool. So that is done from the sides. But no nerves they are coming from the sides, right? Which will go. No, that's the thing. That those specific nerves which will be going to organs, right? They will go to organs, sympathetic. So they will be going via the roots. It means when this is the spinal cord, and then we have got a lateral horn. Right now I'm just drawing lateral horn. These lateral horns will be sending those fibers which will be controlling some organ. But then from where will they come out? They will be via those roots only. So we have dorsal root and the ventral root. Ventral means anterior and dorsal means posterior. So there is a difference between root, right? These are called as the root, right? These are called as the roots. So there is anterior root, there is posterior root. True. And inside the spinal cord, we have got the horns. So we have got the anterior horn, posterior horn, and the lateral horn. So think it like that there are three centers, but entry and exit, that is only one. And once again, that those roots, they will be carrying the nerves to the specific organs, right? And then they will perform the function, because it is like an end-to-end connection. Things are stimulated over here, straight away it will be affecting the heart, straight away it will be affecting the GIT, right? So if this part is clear, voice is not louder. Just a minute. Yeah, can you hear me clearly? I'll just adjust it over here slightly. Right, just let me know, is it okay? Okay, I've raised the voice. Can you guys hear me properly? Okay, okay, all right. Fine, fine. Okay. Yeah, actually, I made one technical change. The change is like that whenever you are going for this live transmission, right, there is something. Okay, okay, okay. Right? Whenever it goes live, there are three modes. One which is called as the normal mode, second is called as the low latency, and third is called as the ultra low latency. Now in ultra low latency, the bandwidth has to be very high. So just in this break, I pumped up my bandwidth to over 200 Mbps. So now things are getting transmitted at 200 Mbps. So in that case, the advantage would be that there is ultra low latency. The moment I'm speaking and I can watch that you are getting that thing at a delay of just 2 seconds. So that's the reason that the advantage for both of us would be that when you put some comment, immediately it would be reflected, and when I ask any question, there would be a very minimal delay, so that interactivity improves. Otherwise it was happening like that, when I was asking questions, then I had to wait for almost say 4-5 seconds before your answers were coming, right? So now I'm putting it in on ultra low latency mode, and the entire bandwidth has been routed to this system only. Yeah, yes. See, all those, and this particular question, yeah, no, your name is good, Dhum Dhadak, right? So the Dhum Dhadak, the thing is, yes, we'll be talking about this MCI exam. And as I said, that on Wednesday, today I'll prepare that link and everything, and you'll get it here only. On Wednesday, that is day after tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the night, we are meeting, and we'll have this discussion, right? In that, I'll be keeping that discussion for the first half an hour. I'll give you the complete timetable. After that, I'll open the session. It's like whatever you want to ask, you can, and then rest of the session will proceed as per your questionings, right? So as you will ask questions, I'll keep on answering those questions. For within first hour, I'll clarify all your say doubts about how should we plan for MBBS studies, first year, second year, third year, that way. Okay. Voice is not clear. You'll get the link over here only. Friends, is the voice okay? Because if someone is not getting clear, it kills the purpose. Can all of you listen to me properly, clearly? Is there any problem? Because now the session which we are about to start is so vital. So it's clear. Okay. All right. Anyway, worst case, say suppose in case to any of the friend, if the anything is not very clear, right, you can always go back to these sessions, right? Okay, all right. So let's go back to our session, and you will get the link over here only, right? You will get the link. That is for day after tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Right. So about the lateral horn. So what we were telling was that, see, there is in spine there are three horns: anterior horn, lateral horn, and posterior horn. We finished lateral horn first because lateral horn, yeah, we are working on it, right? How to plan this PDF so that it should reach to all of you, right? I'm working on it. You'll get it. uh, Coming back to our topic, the lateral horn. The lateral horn will be sending information to those organs, right? Because sympathetic is something which is automated. And for that, it has to go via any of the routes, anterior route, posterior route. They are meant for that purpose. And now they will be forming something what is called as the ganglia. So that means they do have also their offices in between, right? They have also got the offices in between. So there is headquarter who is sitting higher, then he has got another remote offices, but then there are some other offices also, and then there will be very far offices, that is in the form of those paravertebral ganglia, right? We'll come to that. So it's like a very properly planned business setup, you know. So here is our anterior horn. So lateral horn, sympathetic, anterior horn, right? Anterior horn of what? Anterior horn. So this is where it is talking about the internal part. This internal part is a gray matter, correct? Gray matter, that means it is having cell bodies. That means it will be doing the processing work. Yes, so processor is lying in center. Okay. Anterior horn of gray matter. That's anterior horn. Similarly, there would be the posterior horn. So that's the posterior horn. Right. Now this anterior horn, it is carrying efferent motor component. It is carrying efferent motor component. Efferent motor component, right? It means things will be going out of it. E for exit. So it will be going for the motor component. It will be going to muscles. It will be telling that, okay, you act. And the afferent part, the posterior horn is sensory. So sensory means it will receive all those information, right? It is the afferent, right? Now these roots, afferent, sensory components, then that's the white matter, which is having all tracts and axons, and they are sending information up or down. So simply speaking, we have this region which is having gray matter, white matter, and gray matter is of cell bodies, which is in here, and white matter which is over here. So these white matter are what? These white matters are tracts and axons. So there will be specific tracts which will be going up and down, right? And they will be sending information. Okay. Coverings. What they cover? They all are covered by, that's the brain, right? This brain is having three layers. Right? Brain is having three layers: pia matter, arachnoid matter, and the dura matter, right? These are the layers. Now, three layers. Which layer is nearest, right? Which layer is nearest? Well, this is the pia matter, right? But to remember it, right, so that you never forget, don't read this word in English, read this word in Hindi, right? So obviously that PI is always near. I hope that it is small or big, whatever, right? But it is always near, right? In Hindi you find, so yes, he is always near. So that is pia matter. Then rest of the things are easy. Immediately you have to just remember one space, that is S for S. It is the subarachnoid space which is having spinal fluid, cerebrospinal fluid. It is for nutrition, it is for shock absorber, right? So that's the subarachnoid space. It is this subarachnoid space in which there will be blood vessels and they will be supplying to the brain. Then rest of the coverings, this name we said subarachnoid, under the arachnoid. And if it is under the arachnoid, then next has to be arachnoid. And finally the tough layer, dura means durable. Durable means something which is tough, right? So durable, it is tough. So tough layer, it is outside. There is in between the arachnoid matter. Just underneath the arachnoid matter, you have got the subarachnoid space, which is filled up with the fluid, and this fluid is acting as a shock absorber, which will be having those blood vessels. And finally, the dear pia matter and the brain over there. Voice is, try to relog in. Try to disconnect and then connect again. Right? It should be clear. Okay. 12 cranial nerves. These 12 cranial nerves at this junction, yes, you should remember only the names and from where are they emerging. This is not that complex, right? Otherwise, say it keeps on creating confusion, because when you'll start studying neurology more, right, these names will come so rapidly. So all we need to understand is, first thing first, there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves, right? How do they give the number? The numbers are given from front to back, simple, right? There is no big rocket science in it. The numbers are from front to back. See, I'm sorry, but please focus on the subject, right? As I said, the day after tomorrow, we'll be talking about the MCI exam and the entire plan, right? So please, no questions which are not related to today's subject, because it will deviate everyone. Okay, no offense, but I understand your concern. But say if we focus on our subject, right, and on the day when the full liberty will be given to you, you can ask anything you like, right? At that point, I'll entertain all those questions, right? So just wait for a day, bit more. Day after tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Okay, coming back to this cranial nerves. Oh, I wrote radial nerves. No, it is cranial nerves. Cranial nerves. Okay, so 12 pairs of cranial nerves, and they are numbered from front to back. So this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? All in the order only. Starting with few of the nerves which are already known to you. You know them well. This is olfactory. Smell, right? That is the olfactory. That is one. Second, optic, what you are watching, right? Optic. And both of them, they are from cerebrum. Cerebrum, right? Big brain, right? So they are from that. Then as we move further, we come down to midbrain, right? Because see, grossly if you see, cerebrum, midbrain, pons, medulla, right? Coming into perfect order, right? Cerebrum, midbrain, pons, and medulla. Bus. So they are emerging from that. So 1 and 2, right? They are from olfactory and optic. Then comes oculomotor, trochlear. These are oculomotor and trochlear, right? This is one more page which you have to watch every day, just for 2 or 3 days, and you'll be able to remember it, right? Okay, so oculomotor and trochlear, oculomotor and trochlear, they are from midbrain. Right? On the occasion of party or trip, the attraction are well visitors and their special hills. Well, there are so many interesting. I know. That's the mnemonic, and then there are so many interesting mnemonics. Right? This is also good. Okay, so this is oculomotor and trochlear, right? So that's from midbrain, and then we have got the trigeminal, abducens, facial, and vestibulocochlear, right? They are from pons. So we have got two from cerebrum, two from midbrain, and then we have got four from pons, and last four, they are from glossopharyngeal, vagus, accessory, and hypoglossal. They are from medulla, right? So thus the total, say 2 plus 2, 4, and total 12. These are the 12 pairs of cranial nerves which are from brain. Right now, we are just touching the name and from where do they emerge. Right? From where do they emerge? That's what we are looking at. Right? And yes, that mnemonic is, yeah, you can remember it in that order. So many mnemonics are there. Okay. So numbers given as they emerge from anterior to posterior. Coming to the spinal nerves. So we have cranial nerves and the spinal nerves. And when we say that's the spine, so we have got the cervical region, and then there is thoracic, right? That will be to thoracic cavity. And then we have got the lumbar and the sacral and the coccygeal. So here chambers, they are associated. That's where the thorax is associated, and here is the abdomen, and here is the pelvis. Right? So nerves, like there are from cervical, there are 8 nerves, then thoracic 12, lumbar there are 5, sacral there are 5, and coccygeal 1, total coming to 31 on each side, that is 31 pairs. Right? Okay. Now, when we'll be talking about, say, from Saturday, right, from this Saturday and Sunday, what we said is that at our anatomy class, say, we'll be starting with upper limb. And in upper limb, straight away on day 1, we'll be picking up a marathon topic. Yeah, we'll be taking brachial plexus, right? Now, brachial plexus, right on the day 1, right, straight away without any reference. Now it's like those who are seniors, so they know brachial plexus. But anyone who has just entered into medical, and we are going for such heavyweight topic, brachial plexus. Brachial plexus is such that actually, if you start learning it, you can learn it even without any foundation. Just this much piece of information is needed, that from where the nerves come, and then I'll show you one figure and you'll be able to create that entire brachial plexus within no time, right? It is that interesting. So that's the idea behind when we shall start upper limb, that is on our weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Okay. So in ANS, right, we said that we have got the sympathetic and parasympathetic. Now we are diving bit deep. We are diving bit deep. See, our journey would start from hypothalamus, and from hypothalamus all the way, right, those long neurons, they are coming down. All those neurons, they have to come down to spinal level. Now when they come over there, just before that, right, there are preganglionic neurons. Yes, these are what we are talking about, the ganglia. Ganglia means what? Ganglia means the meeting, that round table conference meeting of those cell bodies, and this office is outside our central nervous system. So this is our remote office, right? Remote office. It is not our headquarters. It is situated just out, but it is an important office. Okay. And say preganglion, please. Don't read anything, right? Don't read anything. So completely fine. Yeah, I know there are 7 this cervical vertebra, but there are C8. So all those things we'll be discussing when we'll be talking about brachial plexus. Today, please focus on this. All questions would be coming up, and you don't have to worry about anything. Even you are coming completely blank, right? Without reading anything, still it is completely fine. Just focus on what's going on. That's the intention. My intention would always be like, when you are studying any topic, no worries if you have not read it about it. no problems. But let's say this is lecture number 1 and we talk about certain topic. But in lecture number 2, I really expect that you should be knowing lecture number 1 properly, right? That's my only expectation from you. It should not happen that in lecture number 20, in 20th session, a question pops up which is related to session number 1. Now that is painful, right? That should not happen. So when we say that if we reach to the summit, if we reach on the top, so then it is expected that your entire ground clearance is absolutely fine, right? That part you have done very properly, so that you keep on mounting. Otherwise we'll keep on revolving around same old topics, right? So just that much. Otherwise no problems. Say if any of the question which is related to the subject, no problems. See, that's what I feel like, right? Let me know for any of the extra things or any changes you want, right? Always open. Okay, coming down to this preganglionic, we said that this ganglia is cell bodies which are outside, and all the fibers which are after that, they are post-ganglionic fibers. So that makes sense. And well, these are sympathetic. Yes, they are sympathetic. So from where these fibers will come? We already talked about it. Lateral horn, right? It is the lateral horn that would be handling sympathetic ganglia. And then once they will come out, from where will they come out? Hang on. They will come out via those roots only, right? Via those roots only. So that's what we remember. And then they will reach to those organs. So our journey has started from hippocampus to preganglionic fibers, and from lateral horn of spinal cord, these fibers will come out. Then there are ganglia. Ganglia, they are outside the spinal cord. They meet over there. Few fibers go up, few fibers go down, right? All those things will happen. But right now we are focusing just on one ganglia, that one innocent ganglia, right? It is receiving and it is sending, not doing anything, right? And it is telling directly to the organs, and then yes, you work on that. See, basal ganglia, etc. will cover with the brain, right? Otherwise will distract. Right now, take it this way. See, there are so many questions, right? Say we are covering it step by step. So for these 3 days, it is like foundation. It is basic, right? Then all those specialities, right? We'll keep on adding it. So in ANS, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic is for fight, fright, or flight. What you have to do whenever there is emergency, right? Whenever there is emergency, wherever you are in stress. So if you are in stress, you need support, right? You need sympathy. Correct? That's why sympathetic system to sympathize you, to support you. So that is when you are in stress. And when you are in stress, so you have got some option, fight it out, right? Or you are afraid, yes, it's not bad, but and then the decision is taken that no, there is no point in standing over there, run away. So you fly away. Whatever you do, you will be requiring large amount of energy because it is a stressful situation. In exam, it could be anything. It could be mental, it could be physical, right? There could be a big, say, lion in front of you, right? Or there is a huge exam, or the examiner who is taking your viva, right? He is like a terror, right? Now, obviously, he'll not be standing over there with the Colt revolver, right? He's not going to kill you, but you feel that outcome. What if I'll get less marks? What would happen to me? What would happen to my rank? What would happen if I don't pass? So all those things, they will keep on mounting. So in other words, stress, whether it is mental or physical, right? Body would try to come out of it. So in that case, what you require, right? You require, let's say you are surrounded by, say you are in a jungle and you are surrounded by those 2 or 3 lions, right? Those lions, what would they do? You feel that I cannot fight with them. So now your eyes would be wide open. Your eyes are wide open because you want to run away. For running, you'll be require large amount of blood onto your limbs, right? Large amount of blood into your arms, because running requires both the things, right? Your upper body should be strong, your lower body should be strong. Otherwise, yeah, this is one of the concept, right, for the exercise physiology, that when you want to run, you don't run with your legs, you run with your upper body, right? And for the javelin throw, you don't throw the javelin, right, with the upper body, you are throwing it with the lower body. The reason behind it is when you are running, your upper body, if it is not strong, so it will keep on shaking and it will exhaust all energy. And for the javelin throw, your hand is giving a push, but it is the swing of the lower body which takes it to a higher level. But in nutshell, blood is needed for all the organs, right? All the muscles. So this is how it will work. Now at that point, there is no point in telling that, okay, digestive system, right? You start digesting my pizza, right? No need, no need, right? So all those things will come to an halt. So that's what is sympathetic about, because it is for fight fright, and for that this is a neurotransmitter. Remember its name, neurotransmitter. So adrenaline secretion, that's why in sports it is called as the adrenaline rush, right? Many times you must have felt that also, right? Let's say it is some cricket match and you know that there is only 1 wicket left out, there are last 2 balls and still 6 runs are to be scored, and he hits, and now the ball is into the air, player is standing on the boundary, and then you are watching that thing with what a focus, with what a focus, right? You are watching it, that well this ball, it goes on this side or that side, right? At that point even you might miss one heartbeat. It goes like that, right? And then if someone is watching you, they'll say, yeah, this man is sweating unnecessarily, right? Look at the sweat, look at the pulse, your pulse are raising, your blood pressure is high, right? Because you are feeling at that outcome. Arey yaar, ye ball catch ho gaya to my team will lose, right? Nothing more is going to happen, but yes, you are so engrossed in it. Same thing happens in race, when there is a car race, right? Same thing happens in Olympics. Because why one should see those Olympics? Because when you select, okay, I'm with this player, and then when he starts running, you are also running with that person, right? You are so involved. And then when you are a winner, I'm telling, when you are a winner, right? Because when that player wins, you win. This will generate a sense of reward, that yes, this is like victory, and then you will start implementing in your life. This is the reason why sports is so important. But not only watching, when you are running, think of that, that how he was running, right? So if you can achieve even 10% of it, still you are way high than anyone of. And as I said, that competition is not with anyone, it is you who is competing with yourself. So improve every day. Moving on to the parasympathetic. Okay, stress is over, right? Now it's the pizza time, right? I won't suggest pizza, but let's say it is some healthy food. Let's say fruits, right? So it's a fruits time, and let's have good fruit. Let's watch one good movie. So it is like rest and digest, right? That's where acetylcholine will come into picture. Rest and digest. So that's the parasympathetic, right? And this is like when the sympathetic system is kept at pare. Pare means in Punjabi, pare rakhna matlab dur rakhna, right? So when the sympathetic system, when the stress is kept pare, stress is kept far. So that's where rest and digest. Diving deep. sympathetic nervous system, we are step by step adding the piece. It is thoracolumbar, right? See, sympathetic system, it is starting from hippocampus. It is coming all the way from top, but then it has to come out. So it's not so that it will start coming out from anywhere it likes. No, there is cervical, and then there is over here the sacral, but in between there is thorax and the lumbar. So from thoracolumbar section, it will say that my region is sympathetic. It means rest of these are parasympathetic. Okay, so systematic. So thoracolumbar region, this is for the sympathetic, right? Sympathetic. That's the reason, right? Remember, thorax. Thorax is where the heart is. It is the heart which gives stress. Okay, so that is sympathetic nervous system, thoracolumbar. Remember this T1 to L2. Do remember this T1 to L2. They will come step by step, right? Anatomy will be starting from Saturday. Okay, so thoracolumbar, sympathetic nervous system, so that is from T1 to L2. Now see, hypothalamus. Again, we are adding one new point. The hypothalamus is known to you. It enters into spine. It has got long axon. All the way it comes down, and then there will be preganglionic, right? And then there will be, say, these are the ganglion, and then there is like a synapse, and these fibers from hypothalamus, they will be forming the synapse with the preganglionic neuron. It is in the spine, and then they go out, and here are the ganglion, right? These are the sympathetic ganglia. So from hypothalamus, those fibers, they come and then they form. So it is like this axon, it came over here, it came out, and it formed link with this preganglionic neuron. So now our journey has started. So the preganglionic neuron, we have got one component, the axon from hypothalamus. We have got preganglionic neuron. In between there is synapse, and then there is our office. That's the head office. No, head office was inside. This is our office, right? But important office. That's our office. So that's where the postganglionic neuron, they will be coming into picture. So this is the third one. That's our ganglia. Similarly, one more. So in this entire thoracolumbar section, we have got all these ganglia, and all these offices, they are interconnected. So this is where I was talking about that as these preganglionic fibers, they come out, some of the fibers, they go up, some of the fibers go down, and then everywhere the offices are there. So this level of fibers, they terminate over here. Here, few goes up. The upper fibers also, few comes down, right? Few go still lower level, few go up. See what is happening, right? Actually, see, they are getting connected with each other. And this is, friends, this is what is called as the sympathetic chain. That's the mystery of sympathetic chain. Because when you will be studying abdomen, right, this thing will come million times. Sympathetic chain. Sympathetic chain is nothing but all those ganglia, right? They are connected with each other and they form a complete chain, right? So that is sympathetic ganglia. Good, right? Okay. And then from these sympathetic ganglia, postganglionic, because these are nothing but these are ganglia. And anything which is coming out after it, it is post. So postganglionic neuron, and those postganglionic neuron will go to organs and they will function. So far, easy, right? Yeah, this is where this much is spinal cord, and this is outside the spinal cord. It has to be outside. right? Because we are talking about ganglion. So, right, ganglion is always outside. Had it been inside, we would have called it neuron, right? We have called it neuron. So ganglia was what ganglia is. When all those cell bodies head to head, they make a meeting center, and that meeting center, which is outside the CNS, that means brain and spinal cord, right? So that means it is outside, right? We talked about it, right? Still so important. So I'm very quickly revising it. Say it was like, this is what is called as the cell body, right? Cell body. This is what is called as axon. When so many cell bodies they meet, right? All those cell bodies they meet. So we call it two things we can call it. We can call it nucleus, right? Nucleus. So nucleus, it is in brain or spinal cord, right? If this meeting is happening in brain or spinal cord, then we call it nucleus. And if it is happening outside brain or spinal cord, then we call it ganglion, right? The collection of cell bodies, right? Collection of cell bodies. So that is clear. Now, any fiber which is before that, it is preganglionic. Any fiber which is after that, it is postganglionic. And our all these ganglia, they are connected with each other. And once they are connected with each other, we call it sympathetic chain, right? That is sympathetic chain. Now let's add something more to this. It happens like this, that the preganglionic neurons, right? There are preganglionic neurons. These preganglionic neurons, when they come out, right, heading for prevertebral ganglia. What's that? Who is the? Well, here it is. To make it easy, let me add one page. Right? Let me add one page. I think that would be better. Just a minute. Okay, here it is. So here now we have got the space. We'll be able to explain it. From hippocampus, it comes to spine. In spine, in the lateral horn. From lateral horn, this is hippocampus, right? It came out and it is forming a synapse, and then that's the ganglia, right? So from this point onwards, this much is spine, and I'll color it like this, that this much is spine. Outside the spine, there is ganglia. So I'll call this thing as preganglionic fiber. At ganglia, right, then there would be postganglionic fiber, right? And these things would go to organs. So far easy. And let's add something more to it. It is not, so I'll write as a G1, G2, G3. Why G3? They all are ganglia. So some of the fibers, right, they will come over here, right? They will come over here, and then they will go like this, and they will go down. Some of the fibers, they will go up, right? Similarly, over here also fibers will come down and they will go up. Some of the fibers will end here. Some of the fibers will come over here, right? So this reminds me of that movie, right? I think you will be able to tell me the name of that movie, but in which that Paresh Rawal, right, he said that badi dayalu hai ye murgi, right? Rehti baju mein, anda yahan deti hai. So it happens over here also like that, right? That fiber comes from G2, but it goes to G1 to give anda, right? That fiber comes over here, right? And that dialu fiber, it lives over here, but it goes over here in the G3 to give anda, right? So that's how it works, right? So in other words, all these all these sympathetic ganglia, they are connected with each other. So that's how they are connected, and that's what is called as the sympathetic chain, right? That's what is called as sympathetic chain. This whole thing is called a sympathetic chain. But now there are some special fibers. Those special fibers, yeah, heraferi, that's right. So those fibers, right, they will come. Now they are still more dialu, right? What they do is, I will take them in red color. They'll come and they will say, no, 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 all the way bypass it. They bypass it. And then they create their own other ganglias. Now these ganglias, they are not over here, they are far, right? So these are the prevertebral ganglia. These are prevertebral ganglia. So such ganglia, they create their own group, right? It is like they are very unique and they have got their own groups. And this particular group, they'll say that, see, we have made our offices, right? And we'll take care of it. Why it happens? Because embryologically, so if you put the entire load on few ganglias, it becomes khichdi, right? The way you have got, say, at your house, you have got all these rooms, right? So it happens that electricity wise, you know about ELCB, earth leakage circuit breaker, right? So whenever there is leakage, it trips, right? It trips. And when it trips, so that room is protected. So that way you are giving a central board where you are controlling that system. So that's how the electrical system is defined, right? So this room is practically separate, then second room, then third room, then fourth room. Everyone has got a central station for the controls. Same thing happens over here. So anything which is very far, right? Now see, abdomen, it is having so many organs. So they will say that, why are you mixing our control with others? So he'll say, okay, don't worry, give our controls to our side. And there comes three important prevertebral ganglia, right? There are three ganglias. Now these ganglia, they are called as the prevertebral ganglia, right? Celiac, superior mesenteric, and inferior mesenteric, right? If I'm not writing full name, because right now names are not important, just understand that these are the three ganglia. Now, here it is. This is the sentence which you have to understand. What I am trying to say. Preganglionic neurons heading for prevertebral ganglia do not synapse at sympathetic chain. Right? Okay. See, here, if this point is clear, if not, I'm explaining it again, right? I'm explaining this point because this is the point which, yes, it works as same. So I'm explaining this topic again, this point, because it is this point which is most confusing, and tomorrow's our entire discussion is based on only this topic. So that's why I'm not putting more load on you. This point you understand, yes, we are the winner, right? So I'm explaining it full again, right? So in case if there is any doubt, right, focus properly. You'll definitely understand it, right? So let me add 2 more pages and then we proceed. Okay. Insert 2 pages and let's do it. Okay. Everything from scratch. Hippocampus, you know it very well. That section is our spine section, right? That's our spine, inside of the spine. Okay. This would be from this point onwards, it is outside the spine. Outside. Okay, okay, okay. Right. So this is outside the spine and this is inside the spine. From here, fibers come. Right. I'm just talking about one fiber. From hippocampus, it has come, and here it has formed synapse with these fibers. Right. Our first ganglion itself means it is outside. Right. Ganglion means it is outside. So it is outside. It is outside. And it goes into the ganglion and it stops over there, right? So what name should I give to this? We'll call it preganglionic because it is before ganglion, right? With respect to ganglia, before ganglia, after ganglia. So then there is one more fiber which will be coming out of it and we'll call it postganglionic. So far easy, right? So simple, right? Simply straight away things are going from point to point. Hypothalamus to this is a synapse, right? And it is meeting with preganglionic, ganglion, and postganglion. Okay. And where would it go? It will say, "Bas, okay, now I'll go and supply the organs." So it will supply the organs. Done. But it is not so that it is happening for just one fiber, right? It's outside the CNS, yeah. Wait, right? Things are from, so just take it this way. Because right now we are not talking about some other areas, right? We'll talk about all of them. Okay, so this is G1. Now there is G2, 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 right? This G2 is connected, but how it is connected? Few more fibers, right? Few more fibers, they go like this, and then they come over here. Few fibers, they go, right? And then they go up, right? That's the synapse. That's the synapse. This is all inside spine. So they go up or they go down. Right? Same thing would happen at every level. So thus they all are connected with each other. And this connectivity, right? All of them, they are connected. This is what is called as the sympathetic chain. Sympathetic chain. Good. So yes, there would be few fibers which will be terminating over here also, right? There'll be few fibers, they will be terminating here also direct, right? Straight away. But then few go up, few go down. So that's how the entire chain is formed, right? And then there are postganglionic fibers which are going straight. Postganglionic, postganglionic. And they will go to various organs, right? Organ 2, organ 3, and then that's how they will be giving to various organs. This is simple as straight. No confusion in this. Now we add something extra. I'm taking another color, right? So that it is okay to see it properly. Yeah. And let's increase the width also. So now comes some spatial fibers. Those spatial fibers, as they come, right, they go over here. These fibers, right, let's draw it over here. Here. These spatial fibers, right, when they come, they're postganglionic. Right? This is the fiber. They do come over here, but they don't terminate it over here. They bypass. And they reach to a new location. And that's where they will form a new ganglia. Similarly, over here, let's say every fiber was supposed to go it like this only, right? As it was coming, it will say that either you terminate it over here, or you go up, or you go down, but it would say no. I won't even stop at this point. I'll bypass this entire system and I'll go into a different set of ganglia. This thing is present only in sympathetic system. Synapse forms inside the spine. Yeah, obviously. This is inside, right? This is inside. Now these fibers, what we talked about, that these fibers which bypass, right? These fibers which bypass, which are those fibers? These are preganglionic fibers. Just understand this statement. These are preganglionic fibers. Yeah, these are preganglionic fibers. See, ganglion to is here. है ना? So, and these are preganglionic. So, they are before ganglion because they never terminated at any of the standard sympathetic chain. So, they are preganglionic fibers. Now, see how simple the sentence is. Preganglionic fibers or neurons whose target is, who are heading for those special ganglia, right? They are called as the prevertebral ganglia. The name of these ganglia, these special, right? These ganglia, that is prevertebral. They are prevertebral ganglia. So these prevertebral ganglia, they will be receiving those fibers which will not synapse, at sympathetic chain. That's what we drew, right? See, no synapse over here, right? No synapse. They'll say that will not be stopping at the standard sympathetic chain, will bypass the standard sympathetic chain and will meet at those special ganglia. And those ganglia, these special ones, they are called as the prevertebral ganglia. Good, right? So over here, when we say like this, that these special fibers, they come, right? So there is one. This is their own world. This is their own world. So this, they all are, there are three such special vertebral ganglia. So prevertebral ganglia, we write ganglia, we just write G for ganglia. And they all come, and all the visitors, right? All these visitors, they'll say we have bypassed that sympathetic chain, right? Sympathetic chain was here, right? That was the sympathetic chain. Or let's draw it like that was sympathetic chain. But see, we bypassed them. We never stopped at sympathetic chain. We bypassed them, right? And we are coming straight away from the spine. So then a name is given to all of them. Celiac. Then superior, because it is above. Superior, so there has to be one inferior. Yes, there is. So this is superior and that's inferior. Mesenteric. Mesentery is what? Mesentery is a layer, right, which is covering the abdominal structures, right, or the pelvic structures. So these mesenteries, they are the covering. The way in heart we were having pericardium, in lungs there is pleura, right, parietal pleura, visceral pleura, same thing will happen over here. So that's why the name is. And celiac, right, that is the highest level. Now, surprisingly, why it happens? When you will be studying abdomen, right, when you will be studying abdomen, when we'll be studying embryology of abdomen, so we'll see that how that abdomen forms. It forms in the form of a tube. Then that tube divides. Then there are rotations, right? And then it starts rotating. And then associated with that, even there are specific vessels which are also rotating. So we divide that entire gut, GUT, right, into three parts. Foregut, midgut, and the hindgut. So fine, the thing is that celiac group of prevertebral ganglia, they supply foregut. Superior mesenteric ganglia, it supplies midgut. Inferior mesenteric ganglia, it supplies hindgut. And what about the blood supply? Same. It is the celiac artery which supplies foregut. Superior mesenteric artery supplies midgut, and inferior mesenteric artery, it supplies the hindgut. But when it is, then how do we divide? So simple, right? Let's draw it here. Here is the esophagus, right? From esophagus, it is the stomach. Then stomach goes into, say, the formation of duodenum. Duodenum has got 4 parts. So it is this first part. That's it. Stop. So this area, right? That area is what? Is foregut, right? Let's change the color. From here, the duodenum starts. So over here, then there are jejunum, ileum, right? All those loops, and then we reach to cecum. That's that tail-like thing is appendix, and then there is ascending colon, right? And then there is hepatic flexure, and then there is transverse colon, right? And in transverse colon, just stop at this point. This portion, that is the 2/3 of transverse colon on the hepatic side, this ascending colon, because it is going up, right? Cecum, jejunal loops, right? Jejunal loops, and this rest of the part of duodenum, that is nothing but midgut. And then finally we have this rest of the 1/3 portion of colon, and then there is descending colon, there is sigmoid colon, right? Rectum. This portion is nothing but hindgut. So now indirectly you have understood that this foregut, this means that esophagus, stomach, and the first part of duodenum will be having its blood supply from celiac trunk or the celiac artery. We call them trunk because they are so big, right? That's why it was like pulmonary trunk. And then midgut. Midgut is superior mesenteric artery. Again, a big artery. Hindgut, inferior mesenteric artery. And all of them, they are nothing but they are emerging from aorta. So it is the descending aorta which is going, right? That descending aorta will give one branch and then one celiac trunk, and that will divide and it will supply these organs. Then there is superior mesenteric artery, and then there is inferior mesenteric artery. So that was for blood supply. And how about the nerve supply? For nerve supply, we have got our ganglia. So that ganglia, these are the 3 ganglias, right? These 3 ganglias which are sympathetic, but they are not part of sympathetic chain, because sympathetic chain, it will say, will handle rest of the body. These abdominal structures, they have got their specific stations, right? So these stations, they will be like celiac, they will be like superior mesenteric, and the inferior mesenteric ganglia which will be supplying to it, right? So that's how things go. So here it is prevertebral ganglia, right? Foregut, it is celiac ganglia. Midgut, it is superior mesenteric, and hindgut, it is inferior mesenteric, right? And from esophagus to first part of duodenum, second part of duodenum to right 2/3 of transverse colon, and left 1/3 transverse colon to sigmoid colon is the hindgut, right? Arteries, which are the branches of descending aorta with same name, they supply the entire gut, right? So that way you have learnt, you have associated both the things properly, because they are all branch of that descending aorta. Descending aorta, now you are well aware. as you have learnt heart. So it is the ascending aorta, then it is the arch of aorta. And what happens to that arch of aorta? Arch of aorta goes back, right? Ascending aorta, it appears in anterior, then it is not in flat like this, it goes back, right? So this descending aorta is on the back, right? So that's why it is near to the spine. And because it is near to the spine, that's where all these ganglions are also located. So the name came from these arteries, right? See, from here the celiac trunk was emerging. This celiac trunk was telling that yes, I'll be supplying to this foregut. So they said that yes, we have got one ganglia over here. So what name should we give? Okay, give the name celiac because it is near to celiac trunk. So he'll say, this is good. So name given celiac. Then from here, this superior mesenteric was coming out. So it said, yes, we have got one more ganglia which is here. So give the name superior mesenteric, and same thing case for inferior mesenteric. That's how the names came up, right? This is the reason why it is like that. So got it? These ganglion, they have to be near, but they are not onto the inside the vertebra, right? They are pre-vertebral, before vertebra. Sympathetic chain would be very near to the vertebra because that's where they form the entire chain, correct? So this much is for today, and tomorrow we'll be starting with this level. That is, we'll be entering into the area where we'll be talking about ANS sympathetic and parasympathetic. You should be knowing action potential well, right? Action potential. But in case, right, if this topic is not clear, action potential, no worries. Within 5 minutes, we'll take that action potential part just as a quick revision. But in case if you have got any doubt, right, please go to that film which is on the physiology, right, physiology of heart. Because in that physiology of heart, we have talked about action potential in depth. That is how it starts, how that sodium potassium pump comes, how they are constantly working, what is that equilibrium potential, which is also called as the Nernst equation, right? So that Nernst equation which calculates for one ion, then there is Goldman equation which calculates for number of multiple ions, and then on top of it, what really happens when that slowly that there is a leak, and at certain voltage, which is also called as the threshold potential, all those voltage gated sodium channels, they open, and there is large rush of sodium inside, so that the internal environment becomes positive and it gives spike, right? In case of say cardiac muscles, smooth muscles, right, that thing is taken care of by calcium, and then all the way the calcium, it helps. So that entire process, that is the depolarization, and then the initial repolarization, and then the contraction, right? All those things, what happens in case of say muscles, what happens in case of nerves, right? What happens in case of say those pacemaker, SA node. Just watch this film, though we'll be going for a very high speed revision tomorrow, and then we'll straight away proceed for sympathetic, parasympathetic, their receptors, how they work, what are the type of receptors, and what really happens organ by organ, right from the head to toe, in case of sympathetic and in case of parasympathetic, right? So that would be our target. So thank you so much, and we meet tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Right. All right. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.